Alright, so we're gonna open Notepad++, and you can use Notepad by itself as well. We're gonna create a new file. So every website you create will look like this. Specify the doc type. HTML5 is the declaration. Don't forget exclamation mark here. And we will have a head tag. Now case in HTML doesn't matter. You can use lowercase or uppercase, but try to use all lowercase. W3 Schools recommends. Now in your head tag, all the metadata will go inside here, such as your title, author, things like that. And the title will appear in your browser tab. I'll show you that in a minute. Let's call this my cool website, but we're going to convert this to an app just to show you how to use Cordova. And let's save this on my desktop as index.html. Save. Now it highlights because it knows it's HTML. Now, every HTML document should have HTML as the root element. I should have put that first, but anyway. And it closes. So usually tags will open with HTML and close with a /HTML. There's some tags that won't close, which you'll see in a second. And it's good to format your code nicely, so it's easily readable and you can detect errors. And the body tag is the tag where all your HTML content will go. Visible HTML elements. So let's do a heading, H1 heading. Their headings range from H1 to H6, with H1 being the largest. So I'll say my cool Cordova app, and this will be a login screen. So let's do a form, and let's do 2 input text boxes. So input boxes don't actually have a closing tag. Just remember that. And we can use double quotes or single quotes or no quotes at all if we don't have spaces, but W3 Schools recommends double quotes for all attributes. So we're gonna have type email. If you don't specify an input box type, the default is text, but we're gonna use an email. So if you enter an invalid email, it will detect and warn you for simple email errors. Let's give it an ID. So we'll use JavaScript later on to grab the data from this text box. Username, let's also do input for the password. So we're creating a login screen here. Let's have password, and using the attribute password will let the characters be hidden. And let's give it an ID of pass or p word. Yes. And let's see how this save that. Let's see how this will look in the browser so far. So let's look. So we have the index file here. Let's double click that. Let's type in an email now. Pigs can fly at gmail.com. Let's type in a password and we see it's hidden. Good. And if we notice here, look at the tab title, My Cool App, which corresponds to this title here. And that's cool. Good. So let's continue. Alright, so let's make this look good. Let's add some CSS. Our styles can go in the head tag. So let's do style, and let's add a color. Now we can select elements, H1, form. If we just wanted to select the H1, we can select the H1. Let's make its color, color colon. So this is the CSS attribute, and then we give it the value. So color can be, let's say, blue. And we end it with a semicolon, and then we add a different cell. Let's make its background color let's say lime or green lime, yeah. And let's make the body, so body will select the whole visible part of the document. Let's make the background color for the whole body be, let's say, red. Now you can make your colors look nice, choose good colors to use. I'm just using this as an example to show you. And let's save that. Let's see how it will look now in the browser. Okay, so it looks okay here. Now let's see how it looks on a phone. Let's press F12 or go to your menu and then more tools, developer tools, and you get here. And you can click this button and then it looks like a phone. So you can select a device to see how it looks. I'll stick to the Galaxy S5 and this is how it will look. So you can pretty it up more, make it look nice. The only thing I wanted to add to this before we look at the JavaScript, I wanted to have a break tag. BR will make it on a new line. So if we save that and preview the change, reload, now we see the forms go on different pages. So let's add another break tag just to give it a little more space. And so that looks nice. Now let's give it a label. No, let's do label and let's say username / email, and let's also have a placeholder in the type box. Let me just format it nicer, and then let's also have another label for the other one, and this can be password, and let's add a placeholder in here. I'll show you how the placeholder looks. Equals username / email, and let's also add a placeholder for the second one. Let's make it password. Yep. Okay, good. And let's save this. Let's go back here and reload the website. Now we see that shows up as a label, and now you see the placeholder has username, email, and down here is the placeholder password. If we click it, we can then enter something and the placeholder disappears. So that's cool. Also note that when I click the label, the text box doesn't gain focus. If we wanted to make it easier for the user, we could have a for attribute. For equals the ID, which is p-word, and we could do the same thing up here. For equals the ID, and save that, reload, and if we click that, now you see the text box gains focus. So that's nice to know. You don't have to do that, but it's just good to know. And as soon as I type, the placeholder disappears. So that's cool. And you can add some more formatting. So that's it for HTML and CSS for this tutorial. So that's our login page. Now we want to add some JavaScript to make this form work. So let's do some JavaScript. So we'll type script at the bottom before the body. We'll put our scripts below here, and let's declare two variables: var document dot get element by ID, and let's give this the ID of the input variable, the input text box, and let's do semicolon colon at the end. Let's do the same. Oh, we need to specify a variable name. So this is gonna be the user. Sorry, this is gonna be the email equals that. Let's do the another one of these for the password. var password. So the password is gonna be, let's just leave it as pass w. Yes, w password is gonna be the p word. Whoops. Which is the ID for this input box. So we have those two variables and we can use them. So let's now to get the value that's in the form, let's add a function, maybe function. Whoa. Function login. Let's call this function login, and this is how our function will work. So this is the function name. It can be anything we want, and let's use those variables we have. Email dot value. No, we want to say var email is equal to email dot value. Let's put this as f email. This is the function email, and let's do the same thing for the other value. And that is going to be the function password. Okay. Now I put these in variables instead of doing this. So technically this is the same thing as this dot value, because we could have specified, so we can actually use JavaScript to grab attributes and change attributes in here. So each of these text boxes, the input text boxes, has a value. We could have declared a default value to empty, but we didn't. And that's the same thing, so just note that this is the same thing as this as well. That could have been this dot value, so we can use JavaScript to grab the values, but it's easier to write out this simple variable than this whole thing over again. So that's our email and password we have. Now you could make it such that it can save the passwords and emails. However, we're going to keep this example simple and say if f email double equals pigs can fly at gmail.com. Alright, so let's say that. Then and we can use and. This represents a logical and. The password will say equals, if the password equals let's say easy. Alright, so we want these two cases. We can put them in brackets to make it clearer, and then put these in brackets here. So this says that if this email is equal to this and we get the valid password, then we can proceed. Then we have a valid login entry. We can say we can then move forward. However, let's do the case where we have and invalid. So else, if we don't have any of those, we can say else. We can do an alert and put these in quotes. Invalid user entered, something like that. Please try again or whatever. And that, let's save that. Let's also add so we'll need a button here as well to call the function. So let's use a button up here, and let's say call the button login, right? Login, because we're login. And let's use the onClick event. There are tons of other events, but we'll use the onClick since it's easy to remember. Whoa, what did I do there? Right, onClick equals login, and the two brackets to call the function. So this is the function we define here. So when we click this button, it will call this function. We get the values, we check if the values are valid. We will do something, either go to another page or alert invalid. And before we preview, I just made an error here. This is supposed to be PASW to ensure we get the right variable, and then we want to alert to see if it's the correct user. Valid user, proceed, and we are good to go. Save that, and let's preview it in here. Reload. So let's enter an invalid password and user login. Invalid user entered. Okay. Let's do pigs can fly at gmail.com, and let's enter easy login. Valid user, proceed.